Hi, I'm Edgar.
And I'm Heather.
And this is Does a Decade Matter?
Where generations X and Y intersect and argue about movies.
Today we're watching The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I wanted to start with Blazing Saddles because, hello, opinions.
Yeah, but I don't think that'd be a good one to start our podcast with. This is episode 1, by the way.
Yes, and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was released in 2003.
Yes.
Which technically is a decade because we're only less than 10 days into January.
It's true.
Not all movies will be from a decade ago.
That's also true.
Because we are going to have to argue about our childhood movies eventually.
And that's gonna be awesome.
Awesome. That's a word. Alright, we are now going to pause the podcast and come back after we've watched League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which I have not seen.
You haven't?
I haven't seen it, no.
Oh, it's fantastic. It was Sean Connery's last movie.
Last movie?
Well, he's not dead yet.
True. Alright, we are now going to pause the podcast, watch the movie, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and then return and argue. See you then.
So, that happened.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, and I want to point out, you own this movie.
I did buy this movie, I think, or I grabbed it from my parents' house.
It is in your possession, so that led me to believe...
It's a family movie.
...that you liked this movie.
I did see it in the theater at least once.
Okay. Do you want to know my summary? How I feel about this movie?
I was 18.
I was... not 18.
Okay.
So, my summary of this movie?
Yeah.
Sean Connery needs to make another movie. This cannot be his last movie.
I concur.
Absolutely. That was horrible.
I feel like slapping 18-year-old me.
I feel like slapping 18-year-old you.
There were few redeeming parts in that movie.
Such as?
The fact that up until his last movie, Sean Connery was still quipping.
Quipping?
Quipping, yes.
Quipping.
Quipping. You know, like the thing he did when he was James Bond.
Quipping.
Quipping.
Okay.
There was at least one Sean Connery quip. So, there's that.
I guess. Yeah, no, the most interesting part of this movie for me was when the cat was stalking our neighbors through the window.
Ouch.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have a question.
Yes?
And this is my Invisible Guy, Flatliners, the whole... Isn't it Flatliners? No, that other Kevin Bacon movie when he's naked.
The Invisible Man.
Yes,
yeah,
that.
Whatever.
That.
The Kevin Bacon Invisible Man movie.
Yes, that. So, at the beginning of this movie, they show Skinner, and you see him drink his drink, right?
And it goes down his stomach?
And it goes down. Why don't we see all the undigested waste? Why isn't he a walking pile of poo? This is what I want to know.
Because the movie was a walking pile of poo?
So they didn't need to actually show that part?
Well, that, and I'm sure the MPA wouldn't have liked that. But again, if you're going to show someone swallowing booze who's invisible, you either need to show all of the things in their digestive tract that are visible, or not show him swallowing booze.
Or anything, really, for that matter.
That brings up another good point that I wanted to hope we could elaborate on. The CG in this movie?
Holy balls!
So...
The gray melting part? Cheesier than Raiders.
By Raiders, you mean Crusade, right?
No.
Last Crusade, where the guy melts?
No.
From drinking the wrong cup?
No. The first movie.
When the...
Lost Ark?
Yeah, where the guy's face melts because he looked into the Ark.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that was 20 years before this was made.
Yeah, and this was cheesier. Actually, you take Crusade. Cheesier than that, too.
Oh, yeah. Also with Sean Connery.
Yes, but I'm willing to watch any movie that Sean Connery's in because, hello, swoon.
Oh, you're the man now, dog. Sean Connery joke.
I don't get it.
Not a lot of people do.
Oh. Okay.
What else could we talk about on this movie? Well, let's bring up the notes, shall we?
Because, yes, we took notes.
Oh, of course, we had to.
Okay, for my first issue, reading the opening. I hate reading the openings of movies. I I didn't read the openings of any of the Star Wars movies until I was at least, 20-something, which was about 20 years after they came out.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that either. It's like, hey, we're not going to bother actually filming the important parts of backstory or, nuance that you may or may not pick up on because this movie is kind of boring.
Yeah. And could you please explain to me how a ginormous ship, which is too tall for the canals in Venice...
Also, narrower than the rooms that occupy it.
Also true. But how they kept on dancing when this big ship showed up, but we're like, oh wait, there's things blowing up. Maybe now we should panic?
I think the ship might be a TARDIS. It's wider on the inside.
And obviously has some sort of cloaking device, because seriously?
Yeah, chameleon circuit.
Yeah.
So Nero's a Time Lord?
No.
No, hold on. It kind of makes sense.
I already thought we agreed that Sean Connery was a Time Lord.
Sean Connery is a Time Lord because he has, as James Bond, he had several faces, one of which was Timothy Dalton, who was definitely in Doctor Who.
Oh. Whatever.
Therefore!
Whatever, Sean Connery, swoon.
Yes. Wow. Yeah.
My answer to that, Sean Connery, swoon.
Okay, another Sean Conneryism, because this is apparently just going to be a Sean Connery episode podcast. When what's her name playing Mina Harker?
Who?
The vampire lady.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What was the point of her?
She's actually a much more important character in the comic book that this was very loosely based on.
And you said the American wasn't a part of this?
Nope. I think he was cast so that Americans would watch this piece of trash.
That's unfortunate, because I still know.
Yeah, it kind of looked like Jack Black's younger brother.
Kinda.
Anyway, back to Vampire Girl.
Oh, yeah, her.
Now, if anyone does a Sean Connery impersonation on film, is it a Hunt for Red October reference?
I don't know. I don't understand the point of, well, the movie, or that line. Yeah, I'm at a loss for, well, everything with this movie. Why did we watch this movie?
Because it came out in 2003 and we could actually talk about it.
Oh, wait, and you owned it, which meant you liked it, right?
I liked it enough at one point in my life to buy it.
Or steal it.
No, steal it from my parents. I've purchased some really bad movies.
I know.
I once purchased on DVD a movie that was so bad, I dumped a girl after seeing it in the theater with her.
So you bought the DVD?
Yeah. And then I immediately gave it to someone.
You're a jerk.
Yeah, kind of. Okay, can we talk about how sexy Stuart Townsend is? 'Cause damn swoon.
Who?
Dorian Gray.
Eh.
But they showed his bare chest!
Eh.
Yeah, basically.
No, really, it was just the only reason I watched this movie and paid attention to any of the lines. Swoon. I'm just gonna stop calling him Sean Connery. I am just gonna call him Swoon.
Is that what we're gonna do if there's ever another movie with Sean Connery?
Swoon?
That we do?
Oh, I'm sure I can think of other nicknames for other actors, but Swoon will stick with Sean Connery.
Okay, so in the event we do, the Indiana Jones movies, the three Indiana Jones movies.
Swoon.
Okay.
And Han Solo.
Who are we gonna do to get the first one?
Who?
I think at some point we should have guest hosts.
Maybe. Eventually.
Yeah. What else do we have for notes? Let's see. There's the fight scenes.
Which ones?
Well, the first one kind of played out like a really poorly edited, like, comedy routine.
Western.
Yeah.
Like a bad Western.
Oh god, the sound effects and the visual gags. It was not awesome.
No, not good.
What else do we have on this?
So, at the beginning, I'm like, this is kind of Star Wars-esque. You have that stupid thing at the beginning, which I don't like. And then there's all this talk of the Empire. And then I was like, it's kind of Avengers-esque. A little infighting until we get to the point, finally, eventually, of the actual bad guy. And then they come together, including the big Hulk guy. I mean Hyde. And
Hyde Hulk, really?
Whatever, smash. Come together to fight the one big bad guy.
Okay, so 10 years later, have they finally got a handle on how to do that?
On how to do Hulk smash? Sure.
How to do that formula better?
Maybe.
Yeah, well, I think they also have better filmmakers making movies like this now.
That's true.
What else did we like or note? So there was a poster, I think, where they cut to Paris that had Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill's names on it.
Who?
They were the guys who were responsible for writing and drawing the graphic novel with which this was based on.
Do you think they really appreciated having their names in this thing?
No, they didn't. In fact, I know that after this movie, Alan Moore has declined any kind of credit for anything that he's written to be produced on film.
Smart.
So, when Hollywood made a Watchmen movie, again written by Alan Moore, the credits just said, co-created by whoever the artist was, with no mention whatsoever of Alan Moore.
And that's the way he wanted it.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
But that's the way he wanted it.
Yeah, this was really nothing like the graphic novel that I've read.
Well, you said the American wasn't even in it.
Nope, no he wasn't.
And what was his name? Sawyer?
Tom Sawyer.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Really?
I'm pretty sure that the estate of Samuel Clemens, or Mark Twain rather, still has a copyright on the name Tom Sawyer.
Twain would have been better.
It's true.
Much better.
Yeah, well...
Of the American names you're going to use, literary references, I guess, Huck Finn would have been better.
Would it?
Yes.
Okay. Notes. Oh, how is sinking Venice going to start a world war?
Because really, who cares?
That seemed like a major plot point, but...
Who cares about Venice?
Yeah. It's like, okay, we're dragging other people. There was no...
They should have blown up Paris. No, never mind. Shouldn't have blown up Paris. Nobody cares about Paris either.
I think people care about Paris, but this was a movie that had a lot of, and air quotes, good visuals, that held up, and really a whole not much plot.
Okay, so let's go to the does the decade part.
Does it hold up after a decade?
Graphics? No.
No.
Plot?
I think they would still make pieces of crap like this.
But that doesn't mean it holds up.
They would still make things this bad.
Well, that's true. Will we watch it again in another 10 years?
God, no.
Can we sell this DVD?
Do we have to sell it? Do we have to accept money for it?
Can we throw it out the window? We can throw it at the neighbor that the cat was watching.
That's a possibility, yeah.
Alright, so this has been our first attempt at our first podcast.
Yeah, we're more or less sorry.
Not so sorry that we're not going to do it again.
But hey, at least if we're having a crappy episode, we're starting with a crappy movie.
And therefore, not our fault.
Yeah. The next one, or ones, will be an improvement over this, right?
Absolutely, and there should be at least one more.
Yeah.
We're going to give it a good old college try. Alright, well thank you for joining us on Does a Decade Matter? That's the name of the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. It's still the name of the podcast?
Yeah, are we name checking each other too?
I don't know. I'm Heather.
I'm Edgar.
And this has been Does a Decade Matter? When Generation X meets Generation Y, and then we argue, although we didn't argue, we pretty much completely agreed that this was a craptastic movie, come together and argue over movies. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
So much editing. You need to stop.